Well, thank you everyone for joining us here on Staten Island's North Shore. We're happy to be here in St. George. As you know, the city has been working very diligently to try to revitalize the community and make sure that we can attract more residents and businesses and recreational opportunities. And I want to credit my colleagues who are here from the city level, our Borough President Vito Fasella, as well as our City Councilwoman Camilla Hanks, who have really been champions for the North Shore, for Staten Island, and they are doing all they can to bring awareness and attention to the needs of this community and how we can take advantage of our amazing waterfront that we know for years has been underutilized. I'm really happy to announce that because of their advocacy, and they came to me saying that we needed additional funds, and they championed this issue. We were able to secure $2.5 million in federal funding for the New York City Economic Development Corporation to restore this currently closed pier located right here in St. George next to the ferry terminal. And the project has been designed with the primary objectives of reestablishing public access to the waterfront pier and providing economic, educational, and recreational opportunities for the North Shore community and all of Staten Island. Pier 1 has been closed since 2017 after structural issues were discovered during an inspection. And today, the first 300 feet of the 845-foot pier is open. However, the remainder of the pier remains closed due to safety concerns. So, we are excited to be here today to announce that we've been able to secure this funding that will help complete the pier project. And as you know, I'll give you just some background on this particular pier. New York City Economic Development Corporation took over the property from the DOT in the early 2000s, and in 2003 it was reported by the Advance that the renovated pier reopened, but there was an engineering study that showed its pilings had been undermined by wood-eating marine worms, and it was unsafe according to the reporting at the time. And then in 2010, some of the pier's fishing amenities had fallen into disrepair as well. And so our councilwoman here, who was then serving as the executive director of the Downtown Staten Island Council, brought the issue to New York City's Economic Development Corporation's attention, and we're working diligently with her, now the city councilwoman for the North Shore, to get this done. But this is really all part of the overall North Shore action plan that, again, we anticipate will transform our waterfront into the dynamic and accessible public space that Staten Island deserves. And we are really excited about the opportunities that this will bring for recreation for the community, as well as for economic development, bring more businesses to the area. And we know there's also some affordable housing projects that are planned. So this is all wonderful that we're seeing the city take this initiative, but that we're able to help from the federal level, because the overall North Shore plan, it will bring in hundreds of millions of dollars in city investment, but it's also unlocking 20 acres of public open space and will create thousands of family-sustaining jobs and economic activity, and billions of dollars in economic activity, and 2,400 units of housing once completed. So it's all good news today. We're happy to be here to celebrate something great with our partners at the city level, and I'd like to turn it over to our Borough President, Vito Fasella.
Thank you very much, Congresswoman. And first off, Congresswoman Malliotakis deserves really all the credit for bringing us here today, for her advocacy and fighting in Washington, because it's a tough battle. Somebody who's there, you're fighting for every penny, every dollar. The fact that she was able to secure $2.5 million for this project deserves a nice round of applause. So thank you very much, Congresswoman. And to paraphrase that movie quote, "Build it and they will come," we've always maintained that this area, show it and they will come. Show these views that are among the best in the world. And as we've seen other parts of this region, this waterfront prosper and grow with development, positive development, people moving, businesses moving in, whether it's the Brooklyn waterfront or the Jersey waterfront, up into Queens. we're waiting for that day, right? And we're planting the seeds with these types of investments. And by extension, I want to thank the residents who have committed themselves and made this place better and believe in this community, whether it's Bay Street Landing, the Accolades, and soon residents just about a quarter of a mile away from here, because they know how valuable this jewel is. And the jewel is still untapped. But with all that said, working very closely with our good friend, Councilmember Hanks, who has dedicated a good portion of her life, not just professional, but personal life, to ensure that the North Shore gets what it deserves. And about a year ago, we stood on that pier with the mayor announcing almost $500 million, if I'm not mistaken, of commitment and investments in this area. So it will come. It's a matter of time, but it will come. And the people of Staten Island should get to enjoy this vista, this public space. It's been shut down too long, way too long, if you ask me. But we need to reopen this pier, get this place fixed up so we can be the envy, not just of this island, this city, but of this country, because that's the type of waterfront we have here, and it should be available to everybody across Staten Island, and one day it'll happen. So thank you very much, Congresswoman, the residents, and Councilman Hanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And we're fortunate to have a great partner in the City Council. And Camilla Hanks, as mentioned, she, even when she was not in elected office, was a champion for the North Shore and is really the strong voice that's behind this North Shore Action Plan. And as you know, it's not just the St. George area. There's going to be a new Stapleton waterfront site. You have the St. George Esplanade, right? That's over here, but you also have the Lighthouse Point, Staten Island Irby. There's a lot of different projects that are currently underway or have been at least authorized and are now, we're pushing for the funding to get them fully developed and to their full potential. But the person who has been such a champion for the North Shore, a great partner in government and a friend, our North Shore Councilwoman Camilla Hanks.
Thank you. Good. Is it still morning? Good morning? Okay, good. It's good morning. So thank you so much to our Congresswoman for bringing us out here today, and the Borough President Vito Fasella and the residents here at Bay Street Landing. More often than not, when I'm behind a podium, I have my colleagues in government, bipartisan, behind us as well. We always are, actually more often than not, standing together than apart, and this is one of those instances in which we are standing together. It warms my heart for my colleagues to talk about my 20 plus years to come to this point, your overnight success that takes 20 years, to where you're here and they know that story because they've been in it with you. That's how long we've all known each other, and in Staten Island it's just that special. So I would be remiss if I didn't actually correct the Congresswoman that she actually called me. And I have to give it up to her because, you know, we've always been fighting for the revitalization of the North Shore waterfront and the North Shore. And she's like, we have federal stimulus, federal dollars, infrastructure dollars. What is it that you would like to do? Like, what is one of the things that you'd like to do? And I said, well, we're going to call our partners EDC. And I said, is there anything we need? The Congresswoman is telling us that she has dollars that she's willing to partner to make us whole to get this project kicked off. And that's exactly what happened. And that is, again, the special relationships that we have in Staten Island that are crucial. And so this is not something that will happen. This is not something that we're waiting to happen. This is something that's going to be happening very soon. You'll be seeing we're breaking ground over in Irby. We're breaking ground at the end of the year for the promenade, where you're talking about 3.5 miles or 2.5 miles of promenade. You know, what you see behind us is a no-brainer, but for some reason, our waterfront has been defunct for the better part of several, not just one or two, several decades. And so this marks the change in that. So I want to thank my colleagues in government. I want to thank everyone that came out here today. I know it's important to you that this is a special place for all of you, and now that it's happening, thank you so much, and I can't wait. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Great. All right. We are also very fortunate to have our Chief Operating Officer from New York City Economic Development Corporation, Melissa Roman Birch here. Would love for her to say a few words.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for having me. My name is Melissa Roman Birch. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the New York City Economic Development Corporation. About a year ago, I was standing here with the mayor and with President Kimball and Council Member Hanks announcing the North Shore Action Plan, which will bring a $400 million investment by the City of New York to renovate and reinvest in the waterfront, create a 2-mile esplanade, over 20 acres of revitalized waterfront, which is going to activate the waterfront and bring an incredible amount of new private investment to this neighborhood. And we have been hard at work since then, because we've had groundbreakings of the esplanade over in the Stapleton section. We've had multiple RFPs that have been issued for the Stapleton housing development site, for the North Shore entertainment and amusement site. So we are hard at work, not only building the esplanade, but bringing about the economic development transportation that is so critical to these investments. So I am very proud to be here today with members of government, and want to thank in particular our Congresswoman Malliotakis, who is delivering $2.5 million of additional investment in order to renovate Pier 1 behind us, which sits really at the center of this incredible 2-mile long esplanade. This is a critically important pier, a critically important site, and it is really tremendous that we have got partnership at the federal level to work hand in hand with those of us at the city to deliver incredible waterfront amenities for the people of Staten Island. Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone gathered today.
Thank you. Say a few words? No? Yeah. All right, we're also fortunate to be joined here by our Community Board 1 District Manager, Joan Cusack. Please come say a few words.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone involved in this project. We're trying to do so much to get the North Shore up and running and built after all these years. My EDC partners are here from my alma mater also. And we really appreciate everything you're doing. Diane, I got to shout out to you. You've been so extremely helpful to us. We can call at second's notice. She calls us back, and everybody's working so well. Nicole, your office has been fantastic. Sherry has, she's always there helping us, trying to get everything done, and you've been great. Your office has been great. Thank you so much. Everybody has to be involved. It's a fight we've been fighting for a very long time, and if everybody's not there 100% of themselves and everything they do, please be there and let's get this done. And we'll be so proud of what we have here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to also acknowledge Community Board from Community Board 1. We have Kate Cohn here. We have the Waterfront Committee chairs, Captain Joe Ostrom, and the President of the Lighthouse Museum Board. We have Linda Donato, who is the Executive Director, Peter Lisi, Executive Board Member. We also have some of the Promenade Committee chairs, Dr. Stanley Sachs and Christopher Campbell, as well as some of the other Promenade members, Lillian Lagazzo, Bruce Liozzi, and Danny Lefkowitz. We appreciate all of your leadership. And we also have Lori Senk here, the Vice President of Government Affairs for Arch Care. So we thank you all for joining us. And Paul, do you have any questions?
Yeah, for EDC, what is